E hoina vai ma puna puna vai kumu vai po vai vai maka vai vai puna vai vai ola kane mala wa kanalo. E hoina vai vai o kahiku ka vai o kahike ki na vai pi na vai vai lapa vai vai ona ni no na vai kana kana. Hoina vai ale ale na vai vai uni vai ha ku holu holu na vai vai ni ni eu vai la vili eu no lo wa ilu hoina vai pu na vai vai opi vai eva vai vai ha ni ni holo holo na vai vai ka ka e pu e vai na vai lau pu pu i Aloha and welcome to Hoʻolauna. Hoʻolauna is to gather, to greet one another, and to get to know a little bit between us and to get to know a little bit about me. And I would like you to offer a few gifts. In Hawaiian protocol, we have gifts that we offer in these types of settings when we go to visit someone, when we are going through corporate situations, anytime that we are invited or inviting people to come and be with us, we have gifts. In the Western world, these gifts were things of material substance. For us in Hawaii, these gifts come from within us. The first gifted to you was the gift of oli. E ho'inawai, written by a dear friend that came from the island, or comes from the island from Maui, Kori Pueopata. He composed this song urging the waters in desolate areas to return. Much like these waters that you see here in the Kona coast, we have these pockets that hold fresh water that reminds us of these waterways that connect throughout not only each island on its own, but throughout all of the islands in Hawaii. We also offer a pule, a prayer, a spiritual connection so that our time together is utilized spiritually, physically, mentally. We also offer mo'olelo, storytelling, mo'okuauhau, our genealogical past, bridging us to the present and onto the future. And we also offer mele, a song. So before we get started, I would like to invite everyone to join me in a spiritual connection through pule or prayer that will open our minds and our hearts to receive these gifts that we are about to share with one another today. E pule kako, e ko mako mako e loko kalani e huanu ia ko inoa. E hiki mai ko opuni e malama ia ko make makahunua nei. E like me ia e malama ia e makalani nā. I hawi ia makalani. Mahalo ia oi e ku'ulani, ku keiki hiva hiva, ku uhane hemolele, mahalo ia oi. A mahalo no nā po'e a pau e hiki mai ana e ia nei, mahalo no nā po'e a pau I ka hui ana o ka Hoʻolauna I ke ia la. E pō mai ka I nā po'e a pau, ma ke ia wikio, ma nā po'e ike ana I ke ia wikio ma mua hoi. Mahalo no nā mea a pau. We give an offering to our spiritual guides, to our spiritual connections, to our ancestors who stand behind us in synergy who are steadfast to join us together. We thank all of those who are here today, here with us now, who are joining us later, and who are able to watch this in the future. We ask that our journey together is a blessed one, and we ask those who aren't able to make it to be blessed as well. Makaino Yesu Christo Mikiketia Makauhane Hamolade Amama Noah. Amen. And if everyone, even though I can't hear you, can just clap twice and go. Mahalo. My name is Alikiana Aina, and I'm actually from Kona, Hawaii, now residing on what's called the ninth island in Las Vegas, Hawaii. It's called the ninth island because a lot of Hawaii people have moved here, and there's a lot of us who have come to love this place. This beautiful picture behind me and that I hold space in is one of my most favorite places. It is a water collection that comes from the mountain called Mauna Kea, which is just here in the clouds. And it also mixes with the water collection from this mountain here called Hoʻolauna. These two mountains service this water catchment, this punawai, this place that is so beautiful, but yet so important. It reminds us of Mother Nature's caring. It reminds us of the connections between our islands. It also reminds us that we can go to the source. The source, whether it be for water or the source of enlightenment, the source of spiritual connection. This beautiful place is called Makalavena. The pond itself is called Waiola, or the waters of adolescence. Here upon this land is where a lot of the chief or upcoming chiefs would be trained up to become warriors and then to take their station in life as a chief. This was their bathing grounds, also possibly their drinking grounds during famine. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and I am so blessed to be able to share this with you. Mai mo'okuauhau, the journey that has brought me here today, that has brought me into this world, comes from a long lineage of chiefs and chiefesses. My father is Norin Kiana Aina, 7th generation direct from King Kamehameha. My mother is Carol Ann Palakat, whose lineage comes from Kamehameha's right-hand warrior. And we see that through lineage, a connection has been made. I was born and raised in Kona, Hawaii, right upon this hill right here on Hoʻolauna. And I love my home. And being able to be raised upon not only the island of Hawaii, but in a Hawaiian way, I should say, has really carved my life and carved my being into what it is today. And so with all of my ancestors and their knowledge, I stand here today so honored that you would share space with me. And so with that, I'd like to share a song. Oh, let's see. You know, these songs that people of Hawaii have written, especially our kupuna, our ancestors, our elders that have written, are so prolific in our lives and prolific in storytelling. And so this song that I'd like to share with you is one of my favorite songs that talks about our home there in Kona. And it gives honor and space to that space of Kona. Um, It talks about the billowing clouds that you see upon the horizon. It talks about the soft, gentle breeze that is wafted with a scent of flowers. It talks about a strong wind that sets up the sails. It talks about the beautiful hala or pandanus trees that we see. And it talks about the gradation of colors in the waters of Kona. All these things making Kona so, so beautiful. But most important, our home. How gentle is the wind that blows in the uplands of Kona. This, the land that I was born in, the land that I call home. And in my younger days, I did not take this to heart, but now that I am older, this is truly my home that I love, and I will never take it for granted. Truly beautiful is the land that I call home, this land billowed in the clouds. And oh, how the ocean is so calm and serene, and it surrounds my body. But I will never forget the young days, the times of my youth. But this is my home, the land that I grew up in. A beautiful song called Kona. Mahalo, mahalo. Now I'd like to share with you another song, and this one I will actually be dancing for you folks. It is an English song so that you can definitely connect to it, and I hope you enjoy this. It's a song called Hawaiian Lullaby. This rendition done by Josh Tatofi, and it's a song that truly tells you how I feel about my home.
With life and the laughter of morning and stormy nights, where I live, there are rainbows and flowers full of color and birds and touch the warmth of the sun. I hear children laughing in this place that I love. In this place that I love.
Mahalo. You know, I am just so honored to be able to share with you a Viola or Liquid Life online Zoom retreat that I would like to invite you all to come and join me on. It is a 6 week online Zoom retreat, and that happens every Monday around the same time. Actually, it's the same time that we meet, 3 o'clock Pacific time. And it's an offering to open up the ancient wisdom and connect people in such a way that I hope, as it has impacted my life, that it will impact yours. Again, it is called Waiola, which is liquid life. And it's an opportunity for us to live life and to start to live life fluidly, to move with the ebb and flow, just like the waters, but of life. The mission for this is to be able to examine life through the fluid lens of ancient wisdom, and to apply these principles anchored in Hawaii's culture, practices, languages, and especially our values. The 6 week course, we'll meet once a week if you are able to join me. And we will focus on a few things, one being our piko, our synergy, our source of our spirit and life, our energy centers, and how to access that through what we call hi'uvai. Hi'uvai is a process that we do kind of like, I guess it would be compared to the Western baptism. But it's an opportunity for us to either do it in your pools if you have, or if you're in Hawaii, go to the ocean, to places like this, to submerge yourself and to cleanse away those things that do not need to go with us on this journey that will be transformational for each and every one of us. We also will talk about aloha. Everyone knows aloha to be hello, goodbye, and love. But aloha is truly more than that. Truly, truly more than that. And for those of you who know me, know that how I feel about the word aloha. But I'm going to give you a little tidbit. So everyone just say aloha. Thank you. Aloha for us, just the tip of the iceberg of the meaning. We separate the words aloha from alo and ha. Alo is face to face, whether it be face to face as we are here at Zoom, or face to face with your friends and family, being in the presence of one another. But not just the presence of one another, but ha, that breath of life, knowing that it is special for us to be in the presence of one another. And to know that to share that breath of life is not only important, but it's very special to us. So aloha means that you should be present in this friendship, relationship, to whatever you express aloha to, or whomever you express aloha to. If you express your aloha to your friend, that you have to make that conscious choice to be present, not only to your life, but to their breath. I'm present to your breath. So I'm present to your friends' ups and downs, to your lovers' ins and outs, to the land's ever-changing fields. Whatever you want to express aloha to, that you must make that conscious choice to be present to whatever they bring to the table. For one example, the ocean. Beautiful leaps and bounds of trying to clean up all the trash in the ocean. When we want to express our aloha to the ocean, we have to be present. Meaning when you're at the beach, we leave the beach or the mountains or the waterways, the waterfalls, wherever we go to visit to share aloha. When we leave it better, in better shape. It's the same thing you would do for your friends and family, correct? If you are there to share with your friend and be there for that person, you want to leave them at a better state of mind or physical or spiritual place. You want to leave them better than you met them. It's the same thing that we do for land. It's the same thing that we do for our own lives. So that aloha, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But today I share with you is that makavalu, or that layer of aloha. And so I would like to share with you. It's a very easy chant. It's aloha done 3 times. Aloha, the first, giving honor to your ancestors, to your spiritual connection, whether it be God, Buddha, Pele, whoever it be. That's the first aloha. The second aloha is for self. Although Western knowledge says that we shouldn't be selfish, but we as Hawaii people, and I'm sure those who are connected spiritually, know that we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. We have to be healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually to be able to help other people or the land or the oceans physically and correctly. So the second aloha is for yourself. And then the third aloha is for those around you, for your family, your sentiments to your loved ones, your sentiments to the place that you live in, the sentiments to the land that you live upon, the sentiments to your community. That's the aloha. So the first aloha to your spirit, second aloha to yourself, third aloha to all around you and your community. Okay, so join me and you will say aloha e 3 times. Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e. And then we clap twice. Mahalo for that. Now, if you saw me do this with my hands, what I was doing is acknowledging the spirit. And so what I was doing is the spirit from above and below balance. So that's what I did. So aloha e, and I just did right hand up, left hand down, and switch like this. And then the second aloha e was an embrace to know that we need to love ourselves. Yeah. And then the third aloha is from here, from that embrace and out. Okay. So we can practice that again. Ready? So right hand up, left hand down, and we're going to switch. And pa. Aloha. And embrace. Aloha. Aloha. Mahalo. That what we did is technically what we call hula, is the physical manifestation of what we are chanting or singing or expressing. It's a physical manifestation to move that spirit where we need it to be. That aloha needed to be connected from above and below and balanced throughout. That aloha needed to embrace ourselves. That aloha needed to be pushed from ourselves and that energy out into the world around us. And so our hand movements help that spirit to move in its proper place. We also use our hands to tell a story. In the song that I shared with you, Hawaiian Lullaby, it says, "Where I live, there are rainbows, beautiful rainbows. Yeah? I can smile when it's raining." Our hand motions share the story. In this 6-week class, we will also be learning the hula. We also will be learning oli, chant. Chant gives us an opportunity to set our prayers into a separated vocal range that the spirits will recognize. If we are just praying, say, "Please, Lord, please, Buddha, please, Spirit, do this for me." There are so many people praying, but if we say, if we learn how to put our voice into a different realm, if you will, then the spirits can hear. We also can give honor. Much more expressive than just mahalo. When we speak to those people around us, aloha. We can set that to oli. Oli gives us the stories. Brings in the spirits and connects to our hula and to the rest of our culture. We also will talk about our Hawaiian values, values that I'm sure that all of you share. Hawaiian values like aloha, or to love, or to be present within your relationships, whether it be with people or the land or your communities. We also talk about perseverance, ho'omau, talk about kupa'a, to stand firm in what you believe in, about being pono, to be right, or to be righteous, or to be correct. Kokua, to help one another. We also talk about laulima, lau meaning many, lima is hands, many hands, or hardworking, or working together. Cooperation. We also, and this is a big one, we talk a little bit, and I just say a little bit because it's a broad spectrum, where we talk as much as we can, we'll get into what we know as ho'oponopono, to make right what was already right. Yeah. And I know that may sound a little daunting to you, but for us, we know that intention and what we do was already correct for us, even though it may be wrong for someone else. A big example. For many of you, you may have heard about the telescopes upon our mountain, Mauna Kea, which is behind the clouds, but the telescopes. At the time, it was right. Science, the boom of science and wanting to gain knowledge, Hawaii was at the forefront with having these telescopes. Now with the bigger telescope, the TMT, there are differences of feelings throughout all of Hawaii and the world, really. But to make right what is already right, to ho'oponopono. It was correct back then, but it may not be correct now. Okay, so in all of our lives, we will have these types of things that happen to us. But how do we deal with ho'oponopono? And how do we exercise ho'oponopono to share with one another those things? This is Waiola Liquid Life, a Zoom retreat that will offer each and every one of you an intimate transformation in your life through the lens, through the fluid lens of ancestral wisdom. And before I end this section, why water? Why liquid? Why a place like this, Hawaii, or a place like this Punawai, this source of water? To be liquid is to be able to modify, to mold, waterways have carved huge things. The hugest, the biggest, of course, is the Grand Canyon, but not by force, but over years. It takes time to mold and to go with the flow, much like our lives, much like this waterway. This waterway may be depleted during the low tides, but it refills every single day. This is that type of liquid life that I'm excited to share with not only you folks, but for your friends and families that you would like to invite to this as well. And then at the end of this, of the course, that's 5 weeks. On the 6th week, we will have another concert. And I'm excited for that too, because we get to exercise our oli, our pule, our prayers, or our chants, our hula that we share with one another and share with our families the transformation that we found. And then also have a little fun. You can invite friends over and be playing Hawaiian music. It's basically a luau in your living room. So I'm excited for that as well. And right now I'd like to open up the floor for any questions or remarks.
I'd like to say thank you. It's always such a joy to see you and to hear you sing. I'm hoping that you'll do that again before we end
Oh, yes.
the chant. I have a question about, the aloha chant that you shared. When it's aloha e, what is actually the a?
Aloha e is an expression that, how do I say? It kind of puts the exclamation mark. It has the emphasis of indeed. Indeed, this is aloha. Indeed, this is aloha face-to-face breath of life. Indeed, this is aloha love for myself. And indeed, this is aloha love for my community. Yeah.
Kumu, thank you so much for sharing this beauty and your wisdom. And I was wondering about the falsetto that you sing in, this high frequency falsetto versus the really deep, low chanting and the range of that. And I'm wondering if there's some I know you won the falsetto contest one year. And so I'm just wondering about falsetto in the tradition of the Hawaiian people and whether there's something more significant than just it sounds beautiful.
Sure. Thank you for that. Yes, I did win the falsetto competition there in Kona in 2010. And falsetto actually comes from the cowboy era or the paniolo era of Hawaii. And it is our rendition of a yodel. We had we heard the yodel of the Spanish vaqueros or the Spanish cowboys. And we also heard the yodels that were coming out from Tennessee and Nebraska with those type of bull riding music playing cowboys. And we wanted to mimic it. And in fact, we wanted to accentuate it with the falsetto. So falsetto singing is just high singing in the higher register, but the Hawaiian falsetto accentuates the break between your head voice and your falsetto voice. And so that will then create a little wiggle in your voice. And I'll show you what I mean. show off our vocal acrobatics and hold long, long notes for our breaths. And it creates just a spectacular phonetic and vocal acrobatics to our singing. Mahalo, mahalo. Mahalo for that question.
Amazing.
Mhm. Any other questions from anyone out there? Oh yes, come forward, Kalani, and you can unmute yourself.
There we go. Just wondering, Kumo, if you're gonna be sending out information about Waiola, the workshop that's coming up. Will you be sending that out via email?
Yes, the flyer actually went out, and then so we're gonna actually redo the flyer. But yes, I will resend out to all of those who had typed in mahalo. You will get an email, another invitation for this class. And then once you actually apply, and then there will be another email that comes out with all of the paperwork and things that we need to get together in order for this to work.
Okay, so yeah, some of the my friends that are joining me today, if they're interested, should I send you their email address or what would that
Yeah, or
look?
you can give them my email address and then they can just send me a mahalo.
All right, okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Argon. I just seen that. Any other questions? Oh yes, go ahead, Joy Taylor.
Yes, hi. I loved what you shared about aloha and the deeper meaning of that. And I just really want to bring that with me when I do go to the beach and Makawao Forest and different places. Is there more to say about mahalo? Is there a deep?
Yes, thank you for that. You know, mahalo is just known as thank you. And it has gotten to be, you know, we have Hawaiianized words like kalipa for slipper. Words like aloha and mahalo have now become more used in the Western world. And so when you come to Hawaii, you will see mahalo and aloha everywhere. And I actually had a couple of visitors ask me where they can throw their mahalo. And I had to laugh and I said, well, I asked them at your home, in your restaurants or your public places, what does it say on your trash cans, and it says thank. They say, oh, it says thank you. I said, right. Mahalo means thank you, not trash. So, but that's just because aloha and mahalo are now utilized so widely. But mahalo, maha is an opportunity to have remorse. Okay, maha means remorse. Lo is to obtain. In Hawaii, it is thought that anything that we do, it takes our spirit, mind, body, all of us, from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. It takes all of our energy to do something for someone else, to gift someone else. In those days, pre-Western contact, to have something like this, a bunch of pearls hanging on a string, you would have to go diving for those clams or the oysters, and then shuck them, clean them out. Then you have to create the tool that will allow you to pierce these pearls. So you have to go and find those shells, find a rock that can actually cut the shells, and then braid the twine to put perhaps the drill bit onto a spear of some sort, so that they can hand drill these holes. So if you really think about it, it takes like all of your whole being to do so, to make your loved one or your bride to be something like this, or even a lei, something as simple as a lei. You first have to grow the plants, and then, or find where it's growing, take care of it because you want a lot of it, and then pick it, then braid it all together. There you go, braid it all together, and then present it to your family member. So it takes a lot. So when the person receives it and they want to say thank you, for us, that wasn't enough. We didn't have a word that just says, oh, thank you for whatever you did. For us, we know that that took so much effort out of you that it makes us feel remorseful, that you went out of your way to dive into the water to find the pearls, drill the hole, put it on the string. So mahalo for us is more of gratitude. It expresses that we understand that what you have just done for me and gifted me is not only important, but it is a really, really big gesture. So yeah, that's what mahalo means. It to obtain remorse, or I don't like that word because it sounds like it's sad, but let me look for another word that would explain it better. Yeah, I don't think there's any other words because it means rest or repose, to find comfort. But yeah, so I hope you get what I'm trying to say about mahalo, you really recognize the time and effort that someone went through to put that thing or something together. Yeah. So with that, mahalo and to you for that question. Any other questions?
Unless I've already asked one, so if someone else wants to jump in.
Kelly, did you wave your hand? No? Oh. Go ahead, Wailele.
Okay, so the question is about this, just the difference between kind of fast food culture in mainstream America versus this Hawaiian culture of this effort that it takes to create these gifts, like to make a handmade lei and to grow the flowers and to put the intention into every flower as you create this lei, and creating all of your, I know you create all your costumes and so forth. There's a difference that I'm trying to learn about the quality of creating something in the
Mhm.
Hawaiian culture versus the mainstream, let's go to Walmart and buy a lei. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's a great point. That it has become too easy for us, basically. Um, Too easy, meaning that yes, we can't just go to Walmart or Costco and buy a lei or a bouquet of flowers. Um, it has become too easy for us to be lazy. It is just that we, as a people, including our communities, like as human beings, have an opportunity to exercise mahalo, to exercise that gratitude. And what I say by that is that not just to say mahalo more often, but to know that a handmade gift is more or means more than a bought gift. So that we can take the time. Let's start taking time to really think about what that person would enjoy, would need in their life. And even if it is purchasing something, if someone in your life needs doTERRA oils, that's amazing. It's an amazing gift. It is. Even though you just bought it, but it's intentional, right? You know that that person can become more well with it. If you were to go outside and pick your Hoʻolauna, your turmeric, and give that as a gift, that's more intentional. So to put into practice our mahalo is to then now shift it onto ourselves and say, okay, what can I do? And then also making more people aware that, oh, this is a handmade gift. And I took this into consideration. I took into consideration that you love the smell of plumerias, which is why I decided to make you a plumeria lei. And that kind of idea. So it is definitely made easier for us to become lazy, but it also challenges us to do more. And in doing so, you then show your aloha, right? If you grow your plants and you tend the land, you in turn are sharing your aloha to that land, to yourself, and then sharing it to your community. All of this is connected. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, mahalo, mahalo. Before I close our evening evening for me, our time with one another, I'd like to share with you another song and then close with an ori. Let's see. This song is a composition. In fact, it is my very first composition in Hawaiian. And this song is called simply Aloha. But deeply, the word says that love is like a bird. With every wind that touches its wings. And then it says that love, in fact, is the ocean that embraces all the land. Love is the rain that dampens the flowers. And love is your head upon my chest. Love is like a bird that, with every wind touching its wings, it's a thought that aloha or love in some way, shape, or form has touched every single person in the world. And then love is like the ocean that embraces the entire world. It says that a love is available. It's out there. It's everywhere. It's all around. And love is like the rain that dampens a flower. It's in reference that a flower is like a child, and the rain is the love poured upon from not only the parents, but the teachers and the community. If it has good rain, the flower blooms. It becomes a good flower. If it has bad rain or no rain, unfortunately, the flower suffers. And then love is truly that one-on-one connection. Mahalo, mahalo. Thank you, thank you. So I'd like to share with you this final chant or mele, and it is called Oli Mahalo, or a chant of mahalo, a chant of gratitude. And in the chant it says, Uhola ya kamakalua, the fine woven mat has been unfurled and opened up. Pu'ai ke alohala. and love was shared there and surrounded us. Pu'ai kahaloala, our ancestors surrounded us. Mai ka ho'oku'ia ka Waiola, from zenith to horizon. Mahalo in e kia kua. We give gratitude for our spiritual being, our spiritual head in our lives. Mahalo e nā kupuna la ea. We give gratitude to our elders and our ancestors from which our knowledge is passed down to. And mahalo me ke aloha. We have gratitude with love for each and every one of us that have shared time and space on this mat, on this woven mat. So I share with you as we close our time with one another with mahalo, 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 with gratitude, with gratitude, with gratitude. U'olaia kamakaluala. Pu'ai ke aloha la. Pu'ai ke aloha la. Pawehi mai nā lehua. Mai ka ho'oku'i a ka halawahila. Mahalo e ke akua. Mahalo e nā tupuna la ea. Mahalo me ke aloha la. Mahalo me ke aloha la. Mahalo. Mahalo for all of you for being here. For those of you who have joined and have wanted to join this, I will be sending out another flyer. And if the spirit moves you to join us on this journey that will hopefully transform all of us, yeah, let's stay in touch. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself, or for those of you that had shared, like Vailele or Vaiana, and others like Janet, or I call her Kawaipahe or Kanani, all of those head points, you can also directly contact with them, and then they will put you in contact with me. So mahalo for that. Any other quick questions or anything about the Waiola Liquid Life Zoom? Any other questions? No? Okay, if not, I will see you all hopefully in another one of these. Aloha.